What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So you guys have been going crazy over the LeBron James and Michael Jordan comparison video we done. It went into their data, who is the GOAT, to the author, what the stats say. Now, this is the first time we're reacting to this specific video. Apparently, this video is a lot more detailed. It gives a better rundown on who, is actually the GOAT. Before we get into it, guys,
please smash that subscribe button to continue supporting us.
Yes, guys, let's do it. They're both fantastic players.
I feel like I'm about to watch a movie.
Yeah, feels like a movie, guys, right now.
Jordan versus LeBron. LeBron versus Jordan. It's a debate that has captured the public's attention for the last several years, especially after this moment in 2016, when LeBron James beat the Golden State Warriors to win the third championship of his career. In LeBron's own words,
"That one right there made me the greatest player of all time."
Oh.
That's what I felt. I was like, that one right there made you the greatest player of all time.
But did it? Is everything since that moment simply icing on LeBron's cake? Or is LeBron destined to finish his career in Michael Jordan's shadow? We've all heard the arguments from LeBron supporters.
He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster, he's more durable.
And from Jordan supporters.
Michael Jordan was merely 6-0 with 6 MVPs in the finals.
But the GOAT debate isn't as simple as the...
It sounds like our comment section.
Yeah.
when we done that video, that was literally our comment section. Just people going back and forth on why they think that person's the best. It's crazy. It's a mad debate.
Pundits make it seem. There are a number of factors relevant in determining the greatest basketball player of all time. In fact, I would say there are 5 things that really matter when determining the GOAT of any sport. These criteria are, in no particular order, accomplishments, longevity, winning, statistics, and what we'll refer to in this video as the eye test. And to be the GOAT, you don't need to be the best in any specific category, but you need to be pretty good across the board. So simply winning 7 championships, like Robert Horry did, isn't enough to get you into the conversation. When we're finished with this video, it'll be plainly obvious that one guy comes out on top. But before we get started, I want to clarify that this is not a comparison of legacies. It's about who was the better basketball player. If we were talking about legacies, Jordan's is nearly untouchable. Not only did he lead basketball to global popularity, he helped transform Nike into an empire, changed the way players played
a big part of that.
And how they dressed, and he even made it cool for guys to be bald. And while those things certainly contribute to MJ's iconic status, they don't make him a better player on the court. So let's evaluate the criteria that matter, and we'll start with individual accomplishments. Take a look. Jordan had more regular season MVPs,
Here we go.
twice as many finals MVPs, 9 more scoring titles, and several more selections to the NBA's all-defensive team, including once being named Defensive Player of the Year. LeBron has more All-Star appearances, but that's largely due to his having played more seasons. In fact, when taking into account retirements and major injuries, Jordan essentially played 13 seasons compared to 17 seasons for LeBron, making Jordan's significant lead in accomplishments all the more impressive.
13 seasons still a lot as well. Like, it's not like he barely played.
But compared to LeBron, he's done 17 seasons. So what I think what he's trying to say is that Michael Jordan achieved what he did in a shorter period of time.
Yeah. Which makes it more special.
Yeah.
And that's to say nothing of MJ's brilliant college career, which saw him twice named All-American and once awarded College Player of the Year, at a time when the country's best players actually went to college. So regardless of...
I have a question to ask. Why does MJ stick his tongue out?
I don't know. I think he's doing it there as well. I think it's just his...
I think it's just like a special power he's got.
Guys, comment below. Does it give him like jumping ability or something? It makes him jump for longer.
I guess that's what makes him the GOAT.
Definitely part of his play.
Whether you're a LeBron fan or MJ fan, you have to give the accomplishments checkmark to Jordan.
Fair.
The second criteria in our GOAT analysis is longevity. And this one is also a no-brainer,
LeBron.
but this time in favor of LeBron. Not only has LeBron played more seasons in the league, but he's had a longer peak than Jordan. Jordan's peak lasted about 10 years, whereas LeBron's peak has lasted 16 years and is still going. And he's been incredibly durable during that time, missing significant time to injury only in 2019. That said, the claim that LeBron has been much more durable than Michael has been a bit overblown. Consider that Jordan played in at least 80 regular season games 11 times in his career, including all 82 games an incredible 9 times. Compare that to LeBron, who played in at least 80 regular season games just twice, and in all 82 games just once. So both LeBron and Jordan get high marks for their durability. But durability aside, the bottom line is that LeBron has sustained his level of excellence for a much longer period of time than Jordan, which puts the longevity checkmark squarely in LeBron's corner.
1-1.
That brings us to the third GOAT criteria, winning. As we all know, Jordan won 6 championships. LeBron has won 3. Jordan is 6-0 in the NBA Finals. LeBron is 3-6. Yes, LeBron has made the finals 9 times compared to only 6 times for Jordan, but let's not pretend that making the finals is the same thing, or even close to the same thing, as winning a title.
So Jordan's he got it to the finals 6 times and he won all 6.
Yeah.
So LeBron got it 9 times, but he's won 3.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah. It's true. Getting there and winning it is different.
Take a prime example from another sport, the Buffalo Bills. They're the only team in NFL history to appear in 4 consecutive Super Bowls. But is there a single player or fan of that team that wouldn't trade all 4 of those appearances for just 1 Super Bowl win? Frankly, talk to any fan whose team lost the season's final game and ask them how they felt afterward. Almost universally, their feelings are of sadness, anger, and disappointment. And that's just the fans. For players, those feelings are only magnified.
Yeah.
Listen to Charles Barkley talk about losing in the NBA Finals.
And I was just in shock when it was over because I was frustrated because I couldn't wheel my team past Michael and the Bulls. And first of all, I don't think I've ever gotten over it, number one.
Yeah.
But that was traumatic. And it's painful.
So we can all stop with this false equivalence between winning the championship and finishing runner-up. In the words of Herm Edwards,
you play to win the game.
It's true.
Yeah, if you're not winning,
you don't play to be a runner-up.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Hello?
Facts.
You play to win the game.
Now back to Jordan and LeBron. As mentioned, on basketball's biggest stage, the NBA Finals, Jordan was 6-0.
That's
LeBron
wild.
was 3-6. And frankly, that doesn't even show how lopsided their records really are. In terms of individual finals games, Jordan was 24-11. LeBron is 18-31. And that's because in 4 of his 6 finals losses, LeBron's team hasn't even been competitive. Twice he got swept, and 2 other times he lost 4-1. That includes being on the wrong side of the 2 most lopsided finals by margin of loss in NBA history. Of course, LeBron fans will tell you that the only reason for LeBron's poor finals record is that his competition was so tough. Ironically, some of these same fans criticized Jordan for losing early in his career to a Celtics team stacked with 5 Hall of Famers, and they conveniently gloss over the fact that LeBron reached the finals so many times in part because the competition in his own conference was so weak. During the vast majority of his career, LeBron played in what many dubbed the Leastern Conference because the East was so much weaker than the West. On the other hand, during Jordan's playing days, the East was generally considered the stronger conference, as Jordan...
There's so much things to take into consider.
This is why there's GOAT comparisons.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
I think it will never end. Let's be honest.
It'll never end because there's always someone could always say something.
Yeah, there's always a factor to consider. Oh, but LeBron, he lost the other 3 because the teams he was going against were really strong.
Or his team.
Maybe Michael won those 6 because the teams were weak. There's so many things to think about. Oh my god!
And this guy's doing a very good breakdown. Big shout out to the maker and the author of this because the breakdown's really good so far.
Yeah. Had to battle through hard-fought rivalries against the Bad Boy Pistons, Patrick Ewing's Knicks, the Shaq Penny-led Magic, and Reggie Miller's Pacers. That said, if you want to blame LeBron's failure in the finals on the level of his competition, I won't argue with you. But let's also not blow it out of proportion. If you look at the average number of wins of their finals opponents, you'll see that LeBron's finals opponents average 60.8 wins per season, whereas Jordan's finals opponents average 61.2 wins per season.
They were better.
So as it turns out, both players face stiff competition in the finals. But a big reason we don't hold the 93 Suns, the 96 Sonics, or the 98 Jazz in the same regard as some of LeBron's finals opponents is because, unlike LeBron's adversaries, Jordan's opponents never actually won the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Which goes to my original point, that the difference between winning the title and finishing runner-up is huge. And the reason those teams never won the title? This guy.
Yeah, he stopped them every time.
Look, I'm not trying to say that Jordan's opponents were as good as the Warriors teams that LeBron faced 4 times in the finals.
Oh my god.
The truth is that Jordan never played a juggernaut quite like that. But there's a pretty good reason for that. Jordan's Bulls were the juggernaut. They were the team winning 70-plus games.
Yeah.
They were the team with the target on their back every year. And as the Warriors showed us, that's not an easy place to be. As great as the Warriors were, they were never able to string together 3 consecutive championships. Jordan's Bulls did it twice.
Damn.
So what's the greater achievement? Beating the juggernaut or being the juggernaut?
Yeah, because you know when you're a juggernaut team like that, everyone you're versing, even though you're the best team, everyone you're up against knows you're the best team.
Yeah.
And for that reason, they're coming with their A game.
Yeah.
They are sleeping on time, eating properly. They're doing everything they can.
Planning how they're going to injure the top players.
Going 100% from the second the whistle blows.
Yeah.
Like, they are on point. So, which is a bit of a disadvantage in that sense, because everyone's giving you their 100%.
Yeah.
Makes it harder.
I think it's a disadvantage for both
ends,
to be honest, because the juggernaut team, disadvantage in terms of they're gonna come for you 110% of the effort, and then disadvantage of the opposite team, you're facing the top dogs. Basically.
Top dogs, yeah. Well, top dogs for a reason.
Yeah.
Be more specific. Beating the juggernaut 1 time out of the 4 times you faced them?
Oh, sorry, it's juggernaut with a T at the end, not a G. My bad.
Or being the juggernaut year after year after year, and then doing it again year after year after year. There's no doubt that LeBron's victory over the 73-win Warriors was the highlight of his career. But it's not the first time that an underdog has won the championship, and there actually have been much bigger underdogs who ended up winning the title. But how many times have we seen a player lead his team to 6 championships in 8 years?
None.
Prior to Jordan's Bulls, only Bill Russell's Celtics ever accomplished that feat in the NBA, when they incredibly won 11 championships in 13 seasons. However, back then, there was an average of less than 10 teams in the league, and only a couple rounds of playoffs, so it was considerably easier to win a title. And no player, not even Bill Russell, ever had a run of winning 25 of 26 playoff series, as Michael Jordan did. And Michael's pattern of winning goes beyond the NBA. Let's not forget that Jordan has never won anything but gold in the Olympics, and he also earned an NCAA championship, in which he hit the first of 2 iconic championship-winning shots in his career. All that is to say, when it comes to winning, the checkmark clearly goes to Jordan.
2-1.
On to the 4th GOAT criteria, statistics. This one is a bit more complicated. I mean, how do you statistically evaluate 2 players who played in different eras under different rules at different positions?
It's true.
One way of doing it is to simply look at the 8 traditional statistics of basketball. Points, assists, rebounds, steals, blocks, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and turnovers. And we'll focus on per-game stats rather than cumulative stats, since cumulative stats such as total career points and total career assists really speak to longevity, which is already its own category of the GOAT analysis. Per-game stats, on the other hand, is more of an apples-to-apples comparison. So looking at the 8 traditional stats, we see that Jordan leads LeBron in 5 of them: points per game, steals per game, blocks per game, free throw percentage, and fewer turnovers. LeBron leads in the other 3: assists per game, rebounds per game, and field goal percentage. But that's a pretty simplistic way of looking at statistics.
But even like points and stuff, it's not far off. Look at blocks, it's like 0.7 off. Yeah, 0.7. That steals was close. Like it's pretty close.
If we instead turn to analytics, probably the most well-known analytics stat is player efficiency rating, or PER for short. This metric was created by respected basketball analyst John Hollinger to give an overall rating to a player's performance based on traditional stats like the ones we just mentioned. Jordan has led the league in PER 7 times, LeBron 6 times. Jordan has finished top 3 in PER 10 times,
They're close.
LeBron 9 times.
One off.
In fact, Jordan has the highest career PER in both the regular season and the playoffs.
That's very close though.
Another popular analytics stat
Literally
is
so
win
close.
shares. Jordan has led the league in win shares 8 times, LeBron 5 times. Jordan has finished top 3 in win shares 11 times, LeBron 6 times. And when it comes to win shares per 48 minutes, Jordan has the highest career rating in both the regular season and the playoffs. What about box plus minus? Until recently, LeBron was actually ahead of Jordan in career box plus minus. But after the 2017 season gave Russell Westbrook the greatest single-season box plus minus in history by a wide margin, the architect of box plus minus realized that the stat was fundamentally flawed. So he made some changes to improve its formula. As a result, Michael Jordan now has the highest career box plus minus in both the regular season and the playoffs. And lastly, what about value over replacement player, which on its face seems to favor LeBron James? Well, value over replacement player is a cumulative stat, and as previously noted, cumulative stats speak more to longevity than they do game-to-game dominance.
That's probably why he's winning
That said, according to value over replacement player, Jordan owns 6 of the 9 greatest individual seasons ever played. And on a per-game basis, MJ's career rating in value over replacement player is the highest of all time in both the regular season and the playoffs. Are you noticing a theme here? Not only does Jordan beat LeBron in every ratable analytics stat, he consistently ranks as the best ever across the board. Before we move on from analytics, I want to mention a lesser-known stat called game score, another brainchild of John Hollinger. Game score measures a player's performance in a single game, so it won't tell us who's had the better career, but it does provide insight into who's had the greatest games. Now, we only have game score stats since 1983, so you won't see any mentions of Wilt Chamberlain here. That said, of the 100 highest game scores ever recorded, incredibly 19 of them belong to Michael Jordan.
Wow.
In other words, nearly 1 out of every 5 of the best single game performances over the last 4 decades has been by MJ.
Yeah, that's wild.
That includes the highest game score of all time for Jordan's 69.18 rebound masterpiece.
You know why Jordan's so ahead on these stats? He sticks his tongue out. It gives him special ability, I'm telling
you, man. There's something about sticking that tongue out when he's playing.
It gives him extra boost.
Yeah, it really does.
It's like nitros.
Yep.
Comparatively, LeBron has had only 3 of the top 100 game scores. When discussing the GOAT, Nick Wright is fond of asking this question.
The aliens come down. You have 1 game to save humanity. Who's your first pick in the...
It's like Space Jam. Aliens do come down. Who?
MJ was there.
You know what? MJ's got... How many Space Jams are there? 3 now.
Yeah, I think there's 3.
MJ has 2 of them, and LeBron has the 3rd one.
Is it?
Yeah, because you don't know about the latest one. Yeah, so LeBron, obviously Michael Jordan's retired, whatever. They got LeBron James. So he beat him in Space Jam appearances as well.
Oh.
History of the world.
Well, Nick, I think we have our answer.
Yeah, Michael Jordan.
Now that I've finished drowning you in numbers,
Crazy.
Let's be real. Hardly anyone watching this video knows how to calculate PER, win shares, box plus minus, value over replacement player, or game score. And why should you? This is basketball, not Goodwill Hunting. So let's go back to the traditional stats that we all know and understand. But this time, let's add context to them. What do I mean by context? Well, some positions are simply better than others at racking up certain stats. Let's take rebounding as an example. In a vacuum, if we simply compare the number of rebounds per game of Brook Lopez and Jason Kidd, we might think that Lopez was the better rebounder. The truth is, relative to their positions, Lopez is statistically one of the worst rebounding centers in NBA history,
Oh my God.
whereas Kidd is statistically one of the best rebounding guards in NBA history. But even a poor rebounding center can grab more rebounds than a great rebounding guard solely by virtue of their roles on the court. So it makes sense that, to understand the context of a player's stats, we should compare them to the respective positions that they played. When comparing LeBron James to the other small forwards who have played at least 500 NBA games, this is where he ranks.
12, 17.
Overall, that's pretty impressive. Now let's see how Jordan compares to all shooting guards who have played at least 500 NBA games.
Oh my God. Major difference over there.
Yeah, that's rough. I'm not going to lie. That's rough for LeBron fans, that one.
Damn.
As good as LeBron is compared to other small forwards, Jordan is on another level when compared to other shooting guards. He's darn near the top of every major statistical category.
That's the thing. You got to compare with people in a similar position. It's good that he's done that. It's like in football, you can't compare a goalie and a striker. It just don't make sense.
Yeah.
I know it's a little bit different in basketball because obviously there's no like goalkeeper in that sense, but still, it's better to compare to, well, basically doing it how he's doing it.
There isn't a single category where LeBron is better than MJ relative to his position, other than assists. So to sum up statistics, whether comparing traditional stats or analytics, and especially when judging these players in the context of the positions they played, Jordan has a noticeable edge over LeBron. As such, we have to give the check mark to Jordan.
Yeah.
And that takes us to the last category in our GOAT analysis, the eye test. And to be clear, by eye test, I don't mean which of these players is bigger, faster, or jumps higher. None of that is relevant unless we're having a track and field competition. And frankly, if physical measurables mattered, then George Murasan would be in the GOAT conversation.
He's so tall.
No, what I mean by the eye test is, if you sat an average basketball fan in front of a TV to watch a player in action, what would he notice that the player is and is not great at?
So this is what makes our reaction so good, because we are basically an eye test, because we are new. We're new to the genre, like to the sport. We're new to these players. There's zero bias because we don't support a team. We've not been born in a state where, you know, like someone's born in a state, they support that team of the state. We have zero bias. So that's why our reactions work so well, because we're coming here with literally what they call virgin eyes. Like this is so new to us. But we will, without the context of the player, we'll say what we think. Like one of the things that you guys really disagreed with was me saying, I think Booker was better than Jason Tatum, and a lot of people were like, nah. But the thing is, we're just seeing highlights.
It's true.
Do you get it? Someone might have a fancier highlight. Well, don't mean they're the better player, because apparently Jason Tatum's like top 4 in the league right now, top 3.
Damn. So this is something that we're not aware of.
Yeah, but this is why it works though, because we are just, as people who are new to this, there's zero bias. We're just looking at what we see, and then we're judging it off that. Is what it is, guys.
Yep.
Thankfully, I happen to be an average basketball fan, and I've had the privilege of watching both LeBron and Jordan during their playing days. So unlike a lot of my fellow YouTubers, I haven't merely relied on highlight videos. Here's what my eyes told me when I saw Michael Jordan play, particularly during his playing days with the Chicago Bulls. He was the best offensive player in the game. He was arguably the best defensive player in the game. He had the best mid-range game.
All around.
He was the best finisher at the rim.
Yeah.
He had the best post-up game, which is incredible considering most players who dominated the post were big men. He was widely considered the most clutch player in the game. He was regarded by opponents as the fiercest competitor on the court. He was regarded by teammates as the hardest worker in practice. And when all was said and done, amongst the other stars of his generation, he was the greatest winner. Now, when you're playing against the elite of the elite athletes of the world, to be the best at any one of those things is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
But to be the best at all of them, I tell you it's impossible, but for the fact that we saw Michael Jordan do it. And when it comes to the GOAT debate, that's the biggest hurdle facing LeBron. He's basically being compared to a guy who was great at everything and practically had no weaknesses. Seriously, judging by the eye test, what's the worst thing we could say about Michael Jordan's game? Probably that he wasn't a very good three-point shooter. Jordan shot 33% from beyond the arc in an era when the average player also shot 33%. So when it came to three-point shooting, he wasn't good, he wasn't bad, he was just average. But remember that Michael played in an age when the three-point shot wasn't a big part of the game. During Jordan's years, teams averaged only 9.5 three-point attempts per game, and Michael himself attempted less than 2 threes per game. And if being an average three-point shooter is a weakness of Michael's game, well, then we also have to call it a weakness of LeBron's game. The difference is that LeBron plays in an era where the three-point shot is a huge part of the game. During the years in which LeBron played, teams attempted on average over 21 threes per game, and LeBron himself averaged 4.3 three-point attempts per game, or 2.5 times as many as Jordan. Despite the increased emphasis on threes, LeBron's career shooting percentage from beyond the arc is only a hair better than Jordan, at 34%. And it's actually slightly below his peers, who averaged 35% from three during his era. But to reiterate, being an average three-point shooter was by far the worst part of MJ's game. For LeBron, it's not even close. LeBron, in fact, has 4 major weaknesses as a basketball player, each of which is readily apparent to anyone who has actually watched him play. First, he's not a good free throw shooter.
Oh, that's poor.
For his career, LeBron has shot around 73.5% from the free throw line, which is pretty poor for a player who handles the ball as much as he does. In fact, many analysts point out that, at the end of games, LeBron shies away from driving to the basket because he's afraid of being sent to the line. I don't know whether that's true, but what I do know is that the odds of LeBron hitting 2 consecutive free throws is statistically not much better than a coin flip.
Now, for, coming from people who don't really watch basketball ourselves, us seeing that, I know it's that obviously he's merged all the bad ones. I'm sure he's got ones where he's hitting them, but that's really poor for someone who's at the level he's at and in the GOAT debate. What do you guys think? Like, look, I love LeBron James. I think he's an amazing basketball player, but watching that, I think that's terrible.
No, I definitely agree
that's really
with that.
bad.
Yeah. Especially when you're considered to be a GOAT.
Yeah.
To be a GOAT, in my opinion, I feel like you need to be exceeding in all.
Exceptional, isn't it?
Yeah,
in
exceptional
everything.
in all categories.
And if you have a weakness, it has to be 1. It can't be like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So
but then again, does LeBron only have 1 weakness?
No.
It might be this?
No, he said that LeBron's got about 4. I think he's going to talk through them now.
Oh.
So Michael Jordan had 1, which was a 3-point throws.
Yeah.
But back then, 3-pointers wasn't even that common. So like, if it was more important in the game, he probably would have been better because he would have practiced it more. So at the moment, it's not looking good for LeBron here from what this guy's saying.
Jordan, on the other hand, shot a solid 83.5% from the free throw line during his career.
So he lands them.
And MJ never shied away from contact at the end of games. LeBron's second weakness is that he's an inconsistent defender.
Yeah.
Sure, he's had some years where he was elite defensively, which is evidenced by his numerous selections to the NBA's all-defensive team. But he's also had several years where he's practically been a liability on the defensive end. Compare that to MJ, who during his Bulls days was a consistently elite defender. In fact, Jordan is the only player to rank in the top 5 amongst all guards in both steals per game and blocks per game for his career. Additionally, Michael led his position in defensive win shares practically every year that he played for the Bulls, an incredible 10 times. LeBron, comparatively, has led his position in defensive win shares on just 4 occasions, and in 5 of his last 7 seasons, he didn't even crack the top 10 at his position in defensive win shares.
You can't just watch them.
Now, some will excuse LeBron's recent fall-off on the defensive end as a byproduct of his resting on defense so that he can have more energy on offense. And we can debate the merits of that strategy, but resting on defense is not something Michael Jordan was ever accused of doing. Heck, even as a 40-year-old, he was busting his tail on the defensive end. But what about the notion that LeBron's been the more versatile defender? LeBron supporters will argue that he can guard positions 1 through 5 on the court, such as when he guarded Derrick Rose for stretches in the 2011 playoffs. But LeBron's guarding the opposing team's point guard or center isn't something that happens very often.
You know what my theory is? I think that with how much LeBron carries his team, he carries them like disgustingly. Don't get me wrong, Jordan, I'm sure, carried as well, but I feel like Jordan had a better team around him. In general.
The what they call it?
Juggernauts.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just Michael Jordan was the 10-10 player, but the players around him were amazing too. That's not the case for LeBron. I'm not making excuses for LeBron. I'm not saying, this is why he's a bad defender, nothing like that. But I'm saying it how I see it. I see it as he carries his team so hard and for so long, it gets to a point where
he's tired.
Yeah.
He's tired,
In
man.
easy words, he's thinking, fuck, let the score and then I'll make it up in the attack or something.
Yeah, MJ's team back then was basically Steph Curry's team now.
They were and then MJ was there.
Yeah.
As well.
He is basically like, I don't know if I should be comparing this, but he's basically the Steph Curry of that team.
Yeah. Without, you get what she's
I'm
trying
not
to say.
saying Steph Curry's better than him. I'm just saying like
in terms of
like,
he was the star of the team.
Yeah.
Like the value.
But LeBron, come on, man. Like you guys see, we've done a video literally yesterday, which is out already. My guy LeBron is carrying his team. When the guy showed the stats of the points, he's putting away 40 points. The other guys are putting away like 13. Guy's tired, man.
Yeah, the guy needs a break, man. And I'm not trying to make an excuse for him. And he's 41 now. And it's like
he's tired.
I don't want to make excuses, but that's how I see it. And it's human. He's
he's not a machine.
And to be fair, the fact that he's been doing it for that long, and that consistently, he's moving like a machine when he's not.
Yeah, I have to give that to him, man.
So like, although you could look at the numbers and laugh at him or whatever, like we have to. I'm a realist, and I say it as I see it. That's how I see it, man.
I feel like if he had a team that was like Steph Curry's team or the Bulls, where everyone was working together, and you're the star player, but you've got a team that's around that you can rely on, then obviously he's
and he's lost. What's his name? Kyrie.
Yeah.
Kyrie apparently was putting away 40-point games with LeBron.
See.
Like it's a long day for him. It really is.
Very long day. But you know what? I rate his hunger because he still wants to win.
And he's still trying.
Yeah.
And he's still at that team now.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, during his career, LeBron has spent less than 5% of his total minutes guarding the opposing player's 1 or 5. So the versatility argument is highly exaggerated. And look, when it comes to versatility, Hometown Buffet may have a more versatile menu than Spago. That doesn't make it a better restaurant.
Facts.
LeBron's third weakness is that he's not a very good shooter. And this is a pretty significant flaw for someone claiming to be the GOAT. I mean, shooting the ball is the quintessential skill in the game of basketball. It's the part of the game that everyone practices, whether on the playground, at the YMCA, or in the NBA. Now, some people will contend that LeBron is actually a better shooter than Jordan because he has a better career field goal percentage. And yes, LeBron's career field goal percentage is 50.4% compared to Jordan's 49.7%. But recall what I said about placing stats into proper context. To help us understand context when it comes to shooting, allow me to introduce DeAndre Jordan and Tyson Chandler. We all know that DeAndre and Tyson were great rebounders and defenders, but what if I told you that they were also two of the greatest shooters of all time? That would be certifiably crazy. Yet if you look at all the shooting metrics, field goal percentage, effective field goal percentage, true shooting percentage, both of these guys rank near the top in NBA history.
Fair.
Of course, there's an obvious reason for that. As we all know, both DeAndre Jordan and Tyson Chandler take a lot of their shot attempts on dunks, layups, and putbacks, which are extremely high percentage shots. Well, guess what? So does LeBron James. In fact, every single year of his career, the shot that LeBron James has taken the most has been within 0 to 3 feet from the basket. In other words, dunks, layups, and putbacks. More than 1 of every 3 of LeBron's shots has been within this point-blank range, which is aided by his playing in an era where it's been relatively easy to get to the rim, particularly when compared to the physical era in which Jordan played. And just like every other player, LeBron is really effective from 0 to 3 feet, hitting over 73% of these shots. But how does LeBron fare from outside this range? According to basketballreference.com, LeBron's shooting percentage from outside 3 feet is 37.5%. It's even poorer in the playoffs where he shoots 35.9%. And it gets even worse in close and late situations. In the last 2 minutes of games where the score is within 5 points, LeBron hits only 31.7% of his jumpers. Look, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that these numbers aren't very good, which is probably why in the 2013 finals, the Spurs' defensive strategy against the Heat was to basically dare LeBron James to shoot. And keep in mind, this was against LeBron in his prime. Can you imagine an opposing coach using a similar strategy against MJ? Now, LeBron actually credits the Spurs for forcing him to work on his jump shot, but it's not as if his results have gotten much better since then. Here's LeBron's shooting percentage from outside 3 feet over the last 6 years. Yikes. Well, I'll give him this, he is consistent. For comparison, consider that in the last year of Michael Jordan's career, as an aging player on the Washington Wizards, Jordan shot close to 42% from outside 3 feet. While that's certainly not great, it means that even as a 40-year-old shell of his former self, Jordan was still a better shooter, a far better shooter than LeBron James. Unfortunately, Basketball Reference doesn't have advanced shooting metrics from Michael's Bulls days when he was a significantly more efficient scorer, but few would argue that Michael was anything but a lethal jump shooter when he was wearing red and black. When it comes to shooting, all of us can recall practicing shots on the blacktop, counting down 3, 2, 1 before launching a shot at the rim. Well, if you were pretending to be LeBron James, you'd brick almost 2/3 of the time. Actually, that's not entirely true. If you were playing against a countdown, it would be much, much worse. And that gets me to the last major weakness of LeBron's game, his performance, or more accurately, lack of performance, in the clutch. Remember when people were praising LeBron for making a couple of buzzer beaters in the playoffs 2 years ago? They used these stats to claim that LeBron was better in the clutch than Jordan. But look at these numbers carefully. What stands out to you? How about this? People were using a sample size of less than 1 shot per season to make the case that LeBron was more clutch than Jordan. That would be the equivalent of polling just 100 people in the country to try to predict the winner of the next presidential election. So let's use more telling stats, shall we? Here's a situation that's often used to determine a player's clutchness. 5 seconds to go in the fourth quarter or overtime, and your team needs a bucket to either win or tie the game. It answers the age-old question, who do you want taking the last shot with the game on the line? It turns out that in the regular season and playoffs combined, LeBron has taken 94 such shots. That's
So what this guy's doing, and look, I'll call out shit what I see, man. I'll say it as it is. This guy's clearly a Michael Jordan fan, yeah. Which, look, I'm a Michael Jordan fan. I like LeBron and I like Michael Jordan, so I'm not biased. I think they're both incredible, yeah. But what I feel like this guy's doing, which I don't really rate, is he's using LeBron's big weakness, which is clearly shooting, and he's kind of implemented that to be part of every single weakness. Clutchness he's talking about now. How much does a player pull through in a game, basically? And then what does he resort to? Shooting again. The free throws, the 3-pointers is all linked to his biggest weakness. Don't get me wrong, they are separate weaknesses in a way, but they're kind of tied under one umbrella, if that makes sense, rather than it really being 4 separate big weaknesses. So that's something I've got to call out. Not saying I'm glazing LeBron. I have to call it out because if he'd done the same for Michael Jordan, I'll call it out. I think personally, LeBron, from what we've seen on highlights and certain documentaries, LeBron has been very clutch for his team, and I get, obviously, like he said, winning the championship and getting there's 2 different things. But let's be real. There's been many games, like that Celtics game we watched in, I forgot what year it was, where he absolutely clutched the shit out of the game and he carried his team to the finals. Yeah, they might have not won it. I don't know if they won it that year or not, but he came in clutch. So
and they won the championship against the Warriors as well.
And he came clutch in hell with that and that block he done where he ran from the other side of the court. Stuff like that is clutch plays. Guys, comment below what you think. Do you agree or disagree? I'm not trying to be a fanboy, but I have to call it out, man.
No, because
it's real.
Again, we're not glazing LeBron, but we do appreciate how much of an astonishing player he is. So I do feel like this video is kind of putting him down a little.
I think it's putting him down a lot more than it should.
Yeah.
And look,
this guy said he's not really good at shooting, but in one of the championships he put away 2 3-pointers and that won them the title, no?
I believe so. We probably
I don't know.
I think statistically he might not be the best shooter, but that doesn't mean it could be used for 4 weaknesses. It's just, do you know what I mean? That's my opinion.
Pretty good sample size. And how many of those 94 shots has LeBron made? 19.
Which is
for a
poor.
shooting percentage of 20%. Let me repeat that. 20%. Guys, that's not bad in the clutch. That's atrocious. Michael Jordan in the same situation shot roughly 50%.
Which is very
Yes, that's right. Jordan's performance under pressure was the same as it was throughout the rest of the game. And that, my friends, is the definition of clutch. So there you go. When it comes to the eye test,
debatable. That bit's very debatable, and I'll call it out as I see it.
Our eyes tell us that one player, Michael Jordan, is great at everything and has practically no weaknesses. And the other player, LeBron James, while also having a ton of strengths, has several obvious flaws to his game. And when all is said and done, after analyzing the 5 key factors of being the GOAT, Jordan gets 4 check marks to LeBron's 1, making this GOAT debate, well, not much of a debate at all.
It's a clear win.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that LeBron James is a bad player.
You are.
He's a phenomenal player.
Bro, you were, like, respectfully, now you're trying to, I have to say it as it is, now you're trying to cover your track to not look biased, bro. You started well, towards that kind of whole area, you really slandered him. Now you're trying to cover it to not look biased. I'm not saying you're a diehard Michael Jordan fan, but I am saying that at the same time.
Personally, I have him on basketball's Mount Rushmore, along with Jordan, Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, and Bill Russell. He's just not Michael Jordan. And just to underscore how good MJ was, let's ignore LeBron and Jordan for a minute and focus on the other 3 players highlighted here, Kareem, Wilt, and Bill Russell. Most would agree that these are the 3 greatest centers in NBA history, and each of them has a strong case to justify his standing among basketball royalty. Wilt is an all-time great because he was an offensive force of nature, and he holds a ton of NBA records. Russell is in the conversation because he was a dominant defender and a perennial champion. Kareem also led his team to numerous titles, and in terms of individual awards and accolades, was the most decorated of the 3. Not to mention, he had the NBA's most unguardable shot. Now imagine a center that had all the best qualities from these 3 titans. A player like that would be the basketball equivalent of Thanos. Add to that player the highest level of intangible attributes, such as a tireless work ethic, unmatched killer instinct, and an ability to deliver in the clutch. And now you'd essentially be looking at Thanos with all of the Infinity Stones, and no one would question whether this player was the greatest of all time. But the truth is, we don't have to imagine such a player. That player already existed.
Michael Jordan.
He just happened to be a shooting guard, not a center. When you think about it, Michael Jordan is the real-life version of an overpowered video game character. He had all the qualities we look for in a superstar athlete, and he had it in spades. He's basically Babe Ruth, if Babe Ruth played defense like Willie Mays. And that's why, even in comparison to the other all-time greats, he is truly in a class of his own. Simply put,
which we
he's
don't
the
deny.
GOAT.
I don't deny that. Very detailed video, a very good video. I agree with a lot he says, and I don't deny that statistically Michael Jordan is number 1. But LeBron isn't as bad as he made him out to be. That's the message I want to put out. What do you think on that?
I mean, I think I've been saying this from the get-go. Like, they are both outstanding players. Let them both have their crown.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with that. MJ, he did what he did in a shorter period of time. And we've seen his highlights. We've seen, like, when someone pisses him off, that you don't want to be in that situation. You don't want to be in the same room as him and he's pissed off. But he's amazing. But then LeBron, he is an amazing player himself as well.
He's got hunger.
The guy's 41, he's still playing.
At a high level.
And he's carrying his team. So I think they both deserve the crown. That's just my opinion.
Guys, comment below your opinions. It'll be very interesting. I'll be reading the comments. Do you agree, disagree? Go all out. Go for it. For now, peace out.
Bye.